If you haven't noticed on the trade side, which I know we all have, and even on the consumer side, I think it's become pretty evident. The regulations are just getting tougher and tougher and tougher, which requires more information, more due diligence, more research, more time, more effort to be compliant, to submit and achieve a zoning approval, avoid a variance, and eventually submit for your construction permit and approval. So here we live in New Jersey. You know, it's a great state. Been here, born and raised my whole life. But it's one of the densest, if not the densest, states in the nation. And so because of our density, impervious coverage and building coverage have become paramount. And if you're not familiar with those terms, you're only allowed a certain percentage depending on whichever town, your municipality you're in, whether it's down the shore, you know, in a 50 by 150 lot, or you're out by me in the country. I'm on 3 acres, and you know, now it's 5 acre zoning out here for new construction. There's a percentage of area that you can cover between your home, which is your building coverage, and your impervious coverage is your home, and the balance of all the coverage, which includes driveway, walkways, patios, you know, anything that water can't permeate, air conditioners, generators, could be a shed. It doesn't matter. If water can't permeate through, that comes into the calculations. And again, you can only hit a certain mark before you get to a non-conforming condition and then have to go for a variance. And a variance means no guarantees of an approval because you're asking for compliance and understanding of what you're asking for. And that's in front of a board. So between, my God, knowing your setbacks, zoning requirements, your impervious coverages, stormwater management is paramount now in the state and in the region because of not only density, but the intensity of our storms. I grew up in Westfield. You know, that town is completely built out. There's not one existing lot available other than a tear down. Well, guess what? The stormwater system in Westfield is antiquated. It's over 100 years old. And when I was growing up in Westfield, you know, in the 60s and 70s, normal home back then was a raised cape with a one-car garage, or sometimes a detached one-car garage. Well, we no longer live in that world anymore. We don't live to those kind of limits. And also because of the cost of property today, we're building to the max limits, if that makes sense, to the maximum of what that site will allow because you're spending such a premium on the cost of the property. But we also just want more space and have more cars, and you know, we want, so we need more space. We need a bigger dwelling. We need a bigger garage. All of these things are to control the balance between how we live today and how we're managing stormwater, and we're protecting our trees with tree ordinances in many towns, if not all by now. And it's even gotten to the point when we did a job in Princeton several years ago that now the surface of the water of the pool is considered impervious. It's getting pretty crazy. And even these engineered stormwater management systems that are needed, because we can't take our runoff and our water from our property out to the street anymore because the storm systems are antiquated, so we have to contain it within our own properties with our own built-in stormwater system. So what I'm alluding to is design cannot be more important.